The day 11 homework is pretty straightforward. So I'm just going to show you some examples that have the features that I want. The one thing I went through in class was Protonephridia, so there wasn't much detail on any of them, any of the sketches, but here are just some of the ranges that all got credit. For Platyhelminthes, again, just some examples that got credit. One thing I wanted you to show was the flame cell, and ideally I'd want you to know how it works. And here's another one showing the flame cell. Here's the tube and the excretory pore at the end here. And another couple showing them. These are missing some of the features. It's not so clear that this is all the interior that is the fluid going out. But these were fine. Here's a mollusk. It's a very simple one that I wanted to show because it doesn't include all these features. Here it is. So the shell would be somewhere around here. Here's the mouth. Down here would be the radula. Here's the gut. The gill here, heart, nerve cords down here, and then some other sketches showing the same thing. Here's a section of an annelid, so cut through here. Here's one segment. And it correctly differentiates the circular muscles, which are oriented this way, long, slender cells, and the longitudinal muscle layers, which are cut. And so these are just showing little dashes. The intestine in the middle, and other major features here. Here's an excretory tubule with the opening of it. We'll talk more about that later. Another example showing similar features. And then the last question was on contraction. This one showed here circular muscles. These are the rings going around. The rings here, and when they contract, if those two contract, these rings have gotten tighter. That causes extension in that direction. Here are representative longitudinal muscles running lengthwise. And if the front two contract, they get shorter and fatter, and so do the segments. That pulls the worm back. If we can contract longitudinal muscles on this side, here's the contracted muscle, we get a bend. If we contract longitudinal muscles on this side here, we get a bend to this direction. Here's one that showed it in the whole length with circular muscles contracting to extend. And here labeled extend, here's on one side to get a bend in this direction, longitudinal on this side to get a bend in that direction. Longitudinal muscle in these segments have contracted. Better to show them a little fatter, but that is going to retract the posterior. Here's another structure. The one thing I wanted to remind you of, prefer not to have you draw circular muscles as circles, would be better to draw them like this as rings, long slender cells and rings, but this correctly shows circular muscle contraction to extend, longitudinal muscles to retract, and then to bend on a particular side, contract the longitudinal muscles on that side.